So now let's take a look at the second part of your goal setting. Yesterday you completed your data dig, and so today we're going to take a look at your strengths. We're going to set some goals that will guide your work in ELT. So remember our student whose data we looked at yesterday. Reading was a strength for that student. So we could say one area that is a strength for me is reading. We would simply fill that in. And then he or she could explain why that indicator is considered a strength. They might write that they are scoring in the average range in looking at their PSAT scores. Their PSAT reading score was higher than their math score. They might have in looking at SLDS, they might see that their Lexile scores are steadily increasing. Whatever the data show that made you think, hey, this is a strength, that is what you're going to tell us here. So then you want to think about, well, how do I maintain that area as a strength? So it's like, hey, I am lifting weights and I am able to bench a certain number of pounds for a certain number of reps. How do you maintain that? Well, you have to keep doing it, right? So you're going to think about, well, if I'm a strong reader, what can I do to maintain that area? Do I continue to read? Am I going to branch out into more difficult books? But just something there that will help you keep that strong area strong. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at two areas that are weaknesses, and we are going to set a SMART goal to improve in this area. So a SMART goal is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And so we really want to make sure that our goals are hitting all of those descriptors. So let's think about our student yesterday. Math was weaker on the PSAT, and math was an area where they needed to work according to their MAP scores. So they might say one area of weakness is math, and they would just very briefly say, hey, my PSAT score shows that math is a weak area for me. My MAP score shows this because, and then explain why. So then we start thinking about our goals. So what do you want to accomplish? Do you want to raise your PSAT score? Maybe you have a C in math, and that also shows you that, hey, this is weak. So maybe we want to raise our MAP score and increase our grade in math. Those are specific goals. You might even say, I want to improve my math grade from a 76 to an 82. How are you going to measure your goal? Well, this is pretty easy because, hey, if I'm taking the math again, I'm going to maybe get some growth. If my math score goes up, I'm going to be able to measure that with my report card. Maybe I'm doing iExcel, and that I'm going to use iExcel to measure my goal. So attainable, how can this be accomplished? So how are you going to make that happen? It's not just going to be, I'm going to work harder in math. This really needs to be specific. So perhaps it's, I'm going to spend 2 days of ELT a week working in iExcel. I am going to, if it's doable, I'm going to go after school to Miss Connie or Miss Donna or Coach Kep for extra tutoring. I'm going to do so many minutes on Khan Academy math, but how are you going to attain your goal? And then finally, think about why this goal is relevant to you. Kind of think beyond the report card grade. Think beyond the MAP score. Why is math important if that's your weakness? Why do you want to be better at that? It may be that that's going to open up jobs for you. It may be that that PSAT score is important to you because you're looking at a certain college and you know that you've got to have a certain SAT score or a certain ACT score. Maybe you have a career in mind and math is important to that. So finally then, what is your timeline for accomplishing this goal? It could be the semester. I'm going to work from January to May. But my suggestion here is that you break this down, and I'm going to improve my IXL score by a certain percent in 4 weeks. I'm going to improve my math grade moving from a C to a B by progress reports. That's 4.5 weeks, because the smaller your timeline is, the more likely you are to meet that goal. And that's it. That is how you are going to complete your strengths section and your goals section. And then this is going to help you get the most out of ELT.